So Yesterday is directed by Danny Boyle. It stars Himesh Patel and Kate McKinnon. Danny Boyle, the director, he also did Slumdog Millionaire, Trainspotting, so his work is more like overseas, foreign films, but he's a great director. The movie focuses on Jack, who is just an aspiring singer-songwriter, just a nice, cool, laid-back guy, just wants to play his music, wants to get noticed for it. But at the point we meet him in the movie, he hasn't. He's 1 or 2 gigs away from just like giving up. It's like, I've had it. And I used to write a lot, and anybody who creates anything, it can be very hard to face rejection. And he wasn't getting like rejection straight to his face, but what he was getting was nobody was recognizing him. Nobody was appreciating him for his art. So Lily, who is his friend, I thought it was his girlfriend, but it's actually just his friend. She gets him one last gig at this fair. He's excited about it, gets a t-shirt, the whole thing, goes there, and literally there's just like a couple kids and his friends watching. And even though your friends, your family love you, you want love from the outside world. So he's walking back to his car after this gig, and he's just like, yeah, I'm done. I need a miracle. That's not happening. And so she's riding him back to his bike. He takes his bike back home, and then here's where the suspension of disbelief comes in. If you're gonna have to enjoy this movie, you're gonna have to get over this. I'm a bit of a movie snob, but I was willing to go all in. I'm a Beatles fan, even though I've been listening to music in a while. This movie is a good excuse to kind of get back in. So I was like, all right, whatever happens, whatever the reason is for what's gonna happen here, I'm gonna go along with it. So a worldwide blackout happens. All the lights, TV, electricity, everywhere just goes out all at once across the entire globe. And it lasts about 10 seconds. Now in this time, a street light or something goes out. Jack gets hit by a car, gets knocked off, gets face plants, and loses his front 2 teeth. He wakes up in the hospital. Lily is there. You can tell she's just a very supportive, she's a very lovable character. I liked her character a lot. She was probably the most grounded, cool person in the whole movie. All his friends were, but she's the one we got to know the most. So he face plants and wakes up in the hospital. Lily's there, you know, giving him support, blah, blah, blah. And then he gives her a Beatles reference as she's leaving, and she didn't get it. He was like, okay, okay, whatever. So then he has a coming home party, sees all his friends. Lily got him a nice new guitar, and he initiates it by playing Yesterday, which is one of the most well-known Beatles songs and probably one of the most covered songs ever. And they're all like in shock, like, did you just write this? And he's like, no, you know who wrote it. It's a Beatles song, you know, what's going on? So he thinks they're putting him on, because they're really like, he thinks they're like putting on an act. So he goes home, he's kind of taken back by it. He's like, what's going on? My friend's BSing me, what's the deal? Goes home, searches the Beatles, searches albums, names of the Beatles, all that stuff. Nobody comes up. Nothing comes. He's just, and then he goes to his record collection. His Beatle records are gone. Now that, I'm like, come on. The records just disappeared with a blackout. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna, whatever. We're gonna go along for the ride. So he runs out of house in the rain, of course, make it more dramatic. You know, I love movies that, you know, the rain gets rain just makes everything more dramatic or romantic, whatever. So he runs to Lily's house. He's like, do you seriously not know who the Beatles are? And she's like, no. So he has this epiphany that he is the only person that knows their songs. So now there's no lyrics. He has no albums to read off of. He can't go online and look up the lyrics. He has to go based off of memory. Anybody who knows the Beatles, their songs, their tunes are good. They're not known for their intricate musical ability until like, they maybe a little bit later in their career, but their music is it's simple to memorize. The lyrics are just, you know, loving. They're simple lyrics. So he's just writing them all down. Da, 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 da. And then he plays them for her, and she's like, we gotta get you a gig. So he goes to a couple places, still nobody cares. Nobody recognizes any of the music still. And this guy at this one bar that they're at is like, come to my place. He does a few sessions. They're rocking out all night. Jack works at a warehouse, so he puts out like 5 songs on a CD and just is giving them out. Next thing you know, he's on like a little local broadcast TV show, And the next thing you know, Ed Sheeran's at his door saying, I want you to come on tour with me. You know, and there's some funny little stuff that goes on with that. His dad is kind of awkward and weird. He tries to play these songs for his parents, and they just don't get it. They're like, you know, whatever. Oh, this is nice. Just being supportive parents. So he starts to, when he got on with Ed Sheeran, he outshined him. He was his opening act. Outshined him. Next thing you know, he's got an agent. That's who Kate McKinnon is. Now, the agent is kind of a satirical character. And this is where I start to really enjoy the movie, because it starts to highlight the dangers of fame, fortune, and just getting a lot of new people into your life. It's very scary, it's very overwhelming, but he wants to be famous. So not maliciously, but he leaves Lily behind and rides out with his new agent. I forget her name. But she's a pretty funny, satirical character. She's just over the top. You know, she treats him like a product, and she doesn't even hide that she treats him like a product. So he blows up overnight. Boy, he starts getting views. His stuff is getting millions of views, millions of hits everywhere, here, there, everywhere. No pun intended. Well, maybe pun intended. But anyway, he's just blowing up. Numbers are skyrocketing, and you can tell he's starting to miss home. He's enjoying the fame, he's enjoying, and you can tell also throughout the way, he's feeling a little bit of guilt. These aren't his songs. People want to know the story behind the songs. He can't tell them. So what ends up happening is there's a couple people that are following him, and they recognize that he's going to all these sites. They remember the songs, but they don't remember all the lyrics. So they come to him when he's opening up his album. And before he premieres his album is when he kind of just felt really guilty and overwhelmed. So these two people come to him that kind of know the Beatles, and he thought he was in trouble, thought he was going to be arrested. He wasn't. So they end up actually really just loving the fact that he remembered these songs, this music that they loved, and he was able to bring it to them. They give him John Lennon's address. Again, John Lennon never wrote any Beatles songs. He's just living out by the sea. Tells him you need to be honest with people. You need to tell the woman you love that you love her. So he does this big show with Ed Sheeran, and he admits to the world, I took these songs, they're not mine. And Lily, I love you. And then they, you know, ride off into the sunset. It's a beautiful movie, lovable, a little bit lighthearted. If you like a little romance, you want to go out on a date movie, this is not bad. It's not going to be packed. It's not a super popular movie, so you want to go off, like, a little bit off the beaten path. I would definitely recommend it. As long as you can suspend your disbelief for the reason that everybody forgot all the Beatles songs, you know, you'll be able to enjoy it. But moreover, just be careful. Watch what you wish for. It's one of those types of movies. He blew up, and everybody just treated him like a product and not a person, and he just wanted to go back to the person that loved him. He got to experience that, and now go back to real life. But yeah, definitely recommend that. Check it out. Now I also just wanted to mention a few things that are upcoming. Stranger Things is coming out tomorrow. I planned on watching that and reviewing it, maybe breaking it up in 2 parts. I'm not a big TV guy, so please don't tell me a bunch of TV shows, because everybody has a different show that they love. Like, oh man, it's amazing. Oh yeah, okay, it probably is good, but I can't watch TV anymore. It's like watching a 10-hour movie. Like, you have to watch the whole thing. I just don't jive with it anymore. But I got a few suggestions for some movies. I got those on my list, Annabelle, a few others. So definitely want to get to those. But again, guys, thank you very much for your support, for the love. Hope y'all enjoyed this. I'll see y'all later. Be well. Thank you for your time.